Thank you to the chair and ranking member, and thanks to our witnesses for being here. I wholeheartedly agree with my colleague that we need to work in a bipartisan way to have solutions on weather prediction and meteorologists. I do not believe in finger pointing, but I do believe in using data, and I do believe that we do need to solve problems with our latest technology and best resources. But we also need to make sure that we, before we start to defund and break things, that we are staffed up and are able to really understand the impact of some of the freezes and different things that we are dealing with. In particular, I represent the 6th District of Maryland, and communities across the country, including my native state of Idaho, but my own constituents in Allegheny and Garrett counties experienced devastating floods 2 months ago. Effective weather forecasting and emergency response teams saved hundreds of students and staff from Westernport Elementary in May. Sadly, in Texas, that did not happen, heartbreakingly so, but they actually credit the emergency weather service for saving those children. They were about to let them go at dismissal time, and they kept them in the building. The waters rose from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor, but they were rescued by boat, and there was not one injury. And it was because of the prediction services that happened. As we've heard today, partnership lies at the heart of our nation's ability to predict and respond. Our partnership, not partnership, relies at the heart of the ability to respond to severe weather emergencies, and collaboration between academia and governments and private industry is very important for forecasting data. I was privileged to work in the Biden administration at NTIA, but I actually visited NOAA's headquarters and also their Boulder, Colorado facility, and I was never more impressed by many of the meteorologists there and what they were able to do. So I'm going to ask just a couple of things. I know that we have highlighted the importance of NOAA's Cooperative Institute, CIs, and how they're the backbone of the National Weather Service. Just ask our panelists, these institutes represent 50% of NOAA's research workforce. And as we heard, the FY26 budget would zero that out. How, I know you've talked a little bit about it, but how would the weather service ability to provide open free data be impacted if they are closed? And is there anything we can do to mitigate this against this landscape?
So the open and free data access is really a bedrock of getting the most out of the investments thus far. Cooperative institutes, I'm a director of one, the largest one, play a key role in that, but ultimately it comes down to the government policies that either dictate or enable the production of and release of that data and making it publicly available. What I will say, though, is it is employees at the cooperative institutes in partnership with our federal colleagues that do the work that make it so, developing higher level products that people can access. And I can't stress enough, it is a partnership with federal employees that ultimately draws the best from both the federal side and the university side to put forward this data and this information for the benefit of certainly the American people, people in our state, people all over the world, ultimately. The data have value that are most fully realized when it's most accessible, and we play a key role in that.
I think that's great. You know what, I think that was a perfect answer. I am going to ask one more before I run out of time. A number of our institutions, like the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Studies, are CI consortium members, training the next generation of climate scientists. How will our ability to predict and respond to emergencies be impacted if these CIs close? And how do we see our workforce for the next 10 years?
Sure. The CIs really feed into the federal workforce, develop the talent that the commercial entities ultimately draw from. We're experiencing that directly right now in Boulder, where a very successful enterprise that was undertaken by the federal side and the university side is being taken over by a commercial entity. So That development of capability is huge for precipitating commercial activities, but the biggest contribution is in the talent pipeline. The federal employees usually start out at cooperative institutes. It's kind of an audition period, but looking far into the future, it's the talent we train in this domain that ultimately supports the broader enterprise.
Thank you.
Congresswoman, may I respond to the previous question
Sure.
briefly? So I just want to say that totally agree from a scientific research standpoint and an operational standpoint. Providing that data on a free and open basis, making sure that the American public receives the forecast as a public good is critical. I will say that on the commercial side, things have evolved a little bit in the sense that while that operational forecast, free and open, we totally agree. The raw data coming out of our satellites, for example, has become an important commodity of our industry.
Yep.
And we're able to raise significant private capital, take on significant risk, and really invest in these systems because we have a dual use. We can sell to governments, we can sell to the commercial sector. And so really empowering NOAA to be able to negotiate and create those licensing agreements to protect that upstream data is critical to make sure that the commercial industry can continue to innovate like this.
Thank you. Excellent point.
Thank you.
I yield back.